some reason, I'm one of the few people that believes that the golf scene in the country has been um, on an uphill projection for the past, say, few months or the past few years. Now, on today's edition of the show, we are going to be talking about matters golf. You're going to be hearing me talk a lot about the Safaricom Golf Tour. And a name that has been really associated a lot with the Safaricom Golf Tour is the Junior Golf Foundation. So we're going to be talking about why those two names are going alongside each other and what the Junior Golf Foundation is doing. Joining me on the show today is the president of the Junior Golf Foundation, that is Regina Gachora, who's going to be talking to us a lot about what the Junior Golf Foundation is about and what the organization is doing. Maybe first things first, maybe for somebody who's hearing about the Junior Golf Foundation, you can talk to us about what the Junior Golf Foundation is about and what you are involved in.
Foundation was established in 1997 and has two major mandates. One is to grow the game of golf among juniors around the country, and the second thing is to develop our elite players who would then represent us out of the country. So those are the two main mandates. One is golf development, and the other one is developing competitions that the children can compete with, and developing an elite program where our children can be able to compete internationally.
Okay. Of late, there's been a lot of affiliation with the Safaricom, and more so in the direction of golf. Maybe you can talk to us about why it was important for Junior Golf Foundation to partner with Safaricom, and what do you intend to achieve from the partnership with Safaricom?
Safaricom is a brand that is well known in Kenya and in all spheres of Kenya. Junior Golf Foundation and Safaricom wanted to demystify golf to all Kenyans. And so the partnership was a good partnership where we were now able to spread golf, not just to areas that were known for golf, which is Nairobi and Mombasa, but spread it out to all regions of the country, so that within the next 4, 5, 6 years, we can have a national team that is the same as the national face of this country. So Safaricom has plugged in very well with Junior Golf Foundation to be able to spread the game of golf around the country.
You can talk to us about why the need to develop young golf in the country, because I think I'm one of the people who believes that for the longest time, and I think many people can agree with me on this one, that for the longest time, golf was a game that was associated with people who are probably about to retire or have retired, and have a bit of time over the weekend, when they want to clear their mind off. But right now, apparently, the field is changing a lot.
Yes, I will not disagree with you on that one. I think for many people, their goals were to become a member of a club when they were in their 40s, and to then play the game of golf until retirement. Now, the problem with that methodology was that for a very long time, we were not able to develop players that could compete in the Kenya Open. We were not able to develop players that could be part of the European Tour or part of the PGA. So we needed to start teaching children from a very, very early age, like the rest of the world, to develop the game of golf. Secondly, those people who have children who are in that 40 plus range realize that the game of golf is a game that can teach our children very good life skills. So it teaches our children integrity, it teaches our children honesty, it teaches our children how to meander through obstacles and gives them very good life skills. So it is a game that we needed to introduce to the children if we wanted to be competitive in the world stage.
Maybe you can comment on how the landscape has changed and how much more do we need to ensure that more young people are involved in the golf in the country. I know as the Junior Golf Foundation, there's a lot of things that you're doing. And what do you think more needs to be done to further change that landscape? You know, we need to see more young people in the field of golf in the country.
So one of the areas that we needed to work on was the coaching. We have a lot of coaches around the country who teach people how to play golf, but their focus was on, you know, that 40-year-old plus gentleman or lady, even ladies came in late, who wanted to learn the game of golf. The focus was not on teaching children how to play the game of golf. So one of the things we did in partnership with Safaricom and our other partners, NCBA, Crown Paints, and Prime Bank, is we had a coaching training for 45 coaches around the country to teach coaches how to teach children how to play golf. Teaching children is very different from teaching adults. Teaching children has to be fun-based. It has to be game-based. And you have to be able to keep the attention of the child on the game because the game is quite difficult. It needs to be broken down into small chunks where a child can be able to absorb and be able to play well. So that was one of the first things that we did. The second thing that we did is we introduced our tournaments. We now have non-handicapped tournaments and handicapped tournaments. And 80% of our children are non-handicapped. And children can play from the age of 5 years old now in tournaments. And all our Safaricom junior tours and our US Kids local tours are for children from 5 years and over. And what that does is we now introduce the game of golf at an age where every other child in the world is being introduced. So if our children are able to be exposed from the age of 6, by the time they're 10, 11 years old, and we give them the coaching training like the rest of the world, we can now be able to now have potential children who can now win the Kenya Open.
Okay. One thing that I'm usually very passionate about in sports is women in sports, you know. And I usually say that most of the times when looking at the landscape of sports, either locally or internationally, the scales are usually tipped in the favor of men in one way or another. So maybe as the Junior Golf Foundation, how are you trying to unbalance that scale so that we can see more women in sport and more so, you know, kids participating in that in the sport?
So one of the things I've observed, and I'm in golf, but I'm also involved in other sports, is that between the age of 5 and 7, girls and boys play all sports. You'll find girls and boys playing football. They'll all be running. They'll all be playing hockey. They will play sports together. And even in golf, if you look at the number of boys and girls between 10 and under, we have about the same amount of boys and girls. Now, once we go above the age of 10, the girls start falling off. And by the time we get to teenage years, they're a rare species, if I might say that, in sports. So for us as women, and me being a woman, my main objective is to get girls to stay in sports. So to get them early, get them hooked to golf early, and keep them playing past the age of 13, get to 18, 19 years old playing sports. And if they continue playing sports during that period of time, they can really, really thrive. Another thing that I would like to tell all parents out there, for girls who play sports, it is so much easier for them to get scholarships than boys because we don't have enough girls playing sports. So a lot of schools are trying to balance, and universities are trying to balance the number of boys and girls that are playing sports. So if your girls can hang on until they are 18, there's a better chance for them to get full scholarships around the world than it is for boys. So that is my encouragement to anyone who has girls who play sports. Please just stick with it. Parents, stick with it. Girls, stick with it. There can be some really huge benefits for you out there.
There's a very important part that you've mentioned there, which I would really like to probe. And I'm asking this because you've been in the golf space for the longest time, not only with the Junior Golf Foundation, but also as a golfer yourself. What do you think contributes to maybe female kids or ladies dropping out of school, dropping out of golf between that age gap that you mentioned?
Friendships.
Okay.
If a girl, and for a very long time, the few girls that played were sprinkles here and there. And if all your friends are going to the mall and you have to go to the golf course, at some point you will drop golf. But if you have a cohort of girls that you started playing golf with when you were 7, 8 years old, they are now your best friends. You all meet at the golf course and play golf, and you've known each other for 4, 5 years. There's a good chance that you'll be able to stay in the sport. So for us as administrators, our goal should be, one, to make golf fun, so that by the age of 7, 8, the children are hooked to golf. And then secondly, to make sure that they have a social network that allows them to have friendships that will allow them to stay within the game of golf.
Okay. There's one thing I have to commend with the ongoing Safaricom golf tournament is I've seen editions where young people are the ones that are winning the tournament, which is quite encouraging for young golfers in the country. Maybe as we get into the current round of the Safaricom Golf Tour, what should we expect from the young people and specifically from the Junior Golf Foundation?
I'm happy that you said that, because there was a time we had some young children who won, and the way we do the winning is it is the best gross score. Whether you're 6 years old or you're 18 years old, the course is scaled fairly to any child's ability. So if you see a 6-year-old beating the rest of the course, what that does is it encourages every small child out there to know that, they can be a winner. For a very long time, we've done this thing where, the small children get the really tiny trophies, and then the older children get the really big trophies. So if you're a smaller child, you kind of feel like, your effort is not equal to the 18-year-old effort. So what we have done is we've said, no, everybody's course has been scaled to their level. If the little child is the one that is winning the tournament, let them get that recognition, so that all children out there can say, you know what, I can win that big trophy. If I put in the effort, I can beat even that 18-year-old, because I'm playing from my tees and he's playing from his tees, and we have an equal opportunity to win the trophy. So it really, really encourages the young children, really, really encourages them, and that's what we need. And also motivates the older ones to make sure they're not beaten by the small children.
Okay. I know at some point the Safaricom Golf Tour is going to come to an end. I mean, unfortunately. But probably you can talk to me about the prospects of the Junior Golf Foundation, even with even outside the confines of the Safaricom Golf Tour?
The Safaricom Golf Tour is one of 3 types of tournaments that we have. So we have the Safaricom Junior Golf Tour, which is with Junior Golf Foundation. We have the US Kids Local Tour. That's an international qualifier that allows children to qualify for tournaments around the world, including the World Championships. And then we have our Junior Golf Foundation handicapped tournaments. So in total, we have a calendar of 25 events this year. Actually, we need to add one more that we've just confirmed, which is the Nick Faldo series, which is an international qualifier. It's almost like a champion of champions, where our children will compete under 16 and under 20. The best ones, children in those categories, will go and play against the best around the world in a tournament in Dubai in November. So we have 26 tournaments, of which Safaricom is sponsoring all 26. It's just that the ones that are highlighted right now are the junior series. So they are part of all the 26 tournaments that we're doing. But Safaricom is also, more importantly, involved in golf development, because every golf clinic that we are doing, we are picking the most promising children, and we are training them twice a week on how to play golf. So what we want to see in 2 to 3 years is we want to see of the children who went through the local clinic in the Safaricom Junior Tour, where are they now at that point in time? And we believe by giving them continuous education and continuous training, we will then have national players from around the country.
Okay. Maybe as we wrap up the conversation, a word of advice to parents who are still thinking twice about letting their children play golf. Because the perception out there is that golf is a very expensive game, and you can confirm or deny that fact.
So my advice to parents is come to Junior Golf Foundation. Our offices are in Muthaiga. Find out about it. It is very reasonably priced for your children to play golf. We have a membership, which is 1,000 shillings a year. And that membership allows your children to play on any golf course for 100 shillings. Between 100 and 150 shillings, you can play. Your child can play golf in any golf course. No questions asked. Their JGF membership is their membership into that club to be able to play golf. So that is one avenue. The second avenue is just come and look. One of the things that I'm a member of one of the clubs, actually 2 clubs. And one of the things I've observed in the last year and a half, 2 years, is the number of children on the golf course. If you walk around on any given day, especially in the afternoon after school, you will find 20, 30, 40 children on the golf course at any one point in time. And a lot of members have started embracing juniors because they know that is our future. So if you just want to just look, you can come and just look and see, and you'll see a lot of children have taken up the game of golf.